We're on the road with a Michelin chef. 7 days, 3 pop-ups, 6 total Michelin stars. Come with us behind the scenes on a Michelin-starred road trip up the California coast, from San Diego to San Francisco. We're Anders and Kaitlin, and we travel for food. And in this series, we're on the road with Chef Nick Curtin and the team from Michelin-starred restaurant Alouette. We brought our favorite Copenhagen restaurant to California and curated the ultimate culinary road trip. We'll take you behind the scenes, in the car, in the kitchen, and inside 3 Michelin-starred restaurants to see what it really takes to pull off a fine dining pop-up. This is the Carlsbad episode. Buckle up! If you're just tuning into this series, the Alouette team just wrapped up their first collaboration with Aubergine. Go back and watch the first episode to see the full behind-the-scenes footage from that pop-up dinner. We loaded up the car and left early in the morning to kick off the long drive down to Carlsbad for the next pop-up at Michelin-starred Lilo.
Yeah!
We blasted the tunes to keep up the good vibes.
Purple rain, purple rain.
For the sake of efficiency, we didn't take the scenic route this time and only stopped briefly for a rest stop stretch break. But there was one pit stop we were really looking forward to. The Alouette team's first time trying In-N-Out. On every road trip, In-N-Out is the quintessential stop, so obviously we had to, but this is a Michelin-starred road trip, so we're gonna be pimping out our burgers with a little extra omega-3. I'm talking caviar. Yep, omega style, just got added to the menu.
Wow. I got the pickles, I got this.
Oh, I see, because the chopsticks is that way.
This here is the double animal style, as you can see from the grilled onions, lettuce, tomato, and the In-N-Out sauce, pickles. I mean, name a better road trip stop for $5.
Yeah, for the price and the speed. Oh!
And sponsored by 6. Yes.
Okay.
Sponsored by 6.
Animal style fries at In-N-Out. Can it caviar? We're about to find out. You know, they have animal style here, they have protein style, and now we're having omega style. Lots of omega-3 in these eggs. Yeah, it can caviar. That added the salt these fries needed, honestly.
Open that
Can I
bad boy
caviar?
up.
This is there's more caviar than burger here. After trying it on the fries, we had to try it on the classic cheeseburger. An In-N-Out burger. Can it caviar? Chef Nick put it to the test.
That can maybe caviar. I think that can caviar. Okay.
Oh, the caviar dripping out the side. I can't believe In-N-Out has omega style now. This is amazing. McDonald's who? Surf and turf.
Put a little extra on it.
Yeah, good. Can it caviar?
Heck yes. Heck yes, it can caviar. It really brings out the In-N-Out flavor even more.
Yeah.
Like it enhances the sauce experience. Wow. Wow, what a combo.
Before getting back on the road, there was one more wish from Team Alouette, a visit to Walmart. It doesn't get much more American than this.
Hi, size. My new friend.
With full bellies, we got back in the car for the last half of the drive down to Carlsbad. For those following along with a map, yes, we started in Los Angeles, drove up to Carmel, drove down to Carlsbad, and drove back up to San Francisco for the last stop of the tour. Californians like me will gasp at all that car time, the traffic, the gas prices. But with restaurant opening hours, it just didn't work out to do these dinners in any other order. And we didn't want to cut any of these great restaurants from the lineup. On the positive side, it meant more time for team bonding and carpool karaoke on the road. After a long day in the car, we arrived in Carlsbad and were greeted by a crackling fire and hugs from the Lilo team. Just drove for how many hours? What time is it? We left at 9 in the morning. It is 6:10, so we've been driving. We've been on the road for 9 hours? I can't even do math. Is that right, math? That's correct. 9 hours. We've been on the road for 9 hours today. Just got to Carlsbad. Tired? We're ready. We unloaded the chef's gear, and the team showed us around the beautiful venue where the pop-up would take place the next day. Then we all headed to dinner together at Campfire, another restaurant from the Lilo team, and one of our absolute favorite spots in San Diego. It's a cozy, homey restaurant, and the menu centers around food cooked in the wood fire. Our group was seated at the best table in the house. This is actually where Anders and I celebrated our engagement back in 2023. We fired the whole menu and the table filled with food. The vegetable dishes are absolutely insane, and the broccoli is the best we've ever had. The texture is light and crispy with vibrant acidity from the lime vinaigrette and sweet and spicy candied peanuts. Of course, you have to get some grilled meat. We loved the koji-aged ribeye with a salty, herby crust. Order this with a side of cast iron gratinated potatoes with raclette cheese, double smoked bacon, and charred onions. Hot, gooey goodness. We woke up refreshed and ready to explore a new destination. Chef Eric Bost took us to one of the farms they work with, Sage Hill Ranch Gardens, a family-run farm in the hills of Escondido. The owner, Spencer, took us on a tour of the farm and showed us everything they grow. We saw their chickens, their goat, and even got to eat produce pulled straight from the soil. It's crazy how good vegetables taste when they're fresh from the ground.
It's been a real point of mine while we've been here to try and go to one farm at every location that we're going to, or one source of produce for each chef, so that we can understand what is inspiring them, understand a little bit more about the terrain around the restaurants, and ideally use that to influence at least a little bit of what we're doing with the menu. I asked Eric if we could go visit a farm that was meaningful to him. He immediately thought of Spencer and Sage Hill. And yeah, he chose correctly. This is an incredible, incredible place. This farm has a huge range of ingredients, from herbs to turnips to gailong to passion fruit to citrus to plums, tomatoes, chickens, eggs. They are really utilizing the soil every which way. They're doing crop rotations, chicken rotations. This is sort of like the organic and regenerative farming dream. It's the approach to the soil and the agriculture. His mentality and his approach is that he isn't actually caring for vegetables. He's caring for the soil, and then the vegetables are a byproduct of that. And that idea is really contemporary, really important, really valuable as a farmer to be investing in the earth beneath your feet. My mind is pretty blown, actually, by everything that we've seen.
Then it was time for us to head back to Lilo and start prep for the pop-up. Summer and Melody were already hard at work in the kitchen. And since this was just a one-day pop-up with no prep day before, it was a race to the finish line. The chefs spent the first hours preparing every element of every dish, making all the sauces and getting their mise en place set. As soon as all the prep was done, the teams focused on fully making one example dish of every course to present later in the staff meeting. In general, the Alouette team focused on preparing their dishes, and Lilo focused on theirs. But once anyone was done with their tasks, they offered to help others. It was so nice to watch them work together. It was a true collaboration, and no one was ever standing around. The two teams also came together to collaborate on one dish for the pop-up, a dessert. So they taste tested and perfected it together.
Do we get the woodruff?
I think we can up that.
Yeah, I think we could incorporate the curd a little bit, and then maybe we dial down only one of the big ones, and otherwise, like, if you did the same number of pieces, but you get
One less.
smaller. Yeah,
Yay!
super nice.
I'm so excited that it all worked out. Great.
Lilo opened a year ago and already received its first Michelin star just 2 months after opening. The breathtaking venue is unlike any restaurant we've seen before, with natural elements like wood and stone shaping the space. The sloping wooden walls of the entrance reminded us of a beach boardwalk and a labyrinth, hiding a courtyard inside. At the center, a big tree, benches, and a fire pit invite guests in. The vibe is woodsy, beachy, and quintessentially Carlsbad. Even though it's a fine dining restaurant, the place feels laid back. Only in California would you be able to sit under the open sky to enjoy snacks and a drink before the meal. Inside, the U-shaped dining room is equally unique, with a beautiful open kitchen and views of the chefs at work from every stool. Seating is mostly at the counter, but there are also 2 tables for bigger parties. Before service, the teams presented all their dishes to each other in a staff meeting.
We've been talking about this one for a while. Not too long, because I feel like it popped up and it was like, okay, let's go. But with Chef Nick, with Camilla, with Kaitlin and Anders all here, his team with Melody and Summer right behind me. It's been a cool day. Really looking forward to showing our guests, some new guests tonight, some repeat guests, kind of Chef Nick and his style of food, and then kind of what we're doing here. And I feel like there's like a really beautiful cohesion between all of it philosophically. I'm excited to see a couple things, like you'll see sabayons on 2 different dishes that we each do our own version and they find themselves in different ways. The XO, you'll see the Copenhagen version, the Lilo version. So that'll be fun to see.
Thank you so much to the entire team, especially Eric and John, for the incredible hospitality you guys have shown us. We're in, out, which is a crazy concept when you think about it, but the amount of things that we've been able to see, professionalism that you guys have shown, how quickly this comes together, but also how, like, just seeing it all together, how it looks is a remarkable thing, how 2 restaurants from other sides of the planet can kind of collide, even if just for one night. Collaborations are what we do on a regular basis, right? These relationships that you guys build with your farmers, your purveyors, your wine producers. The same is for us. It's about finding people who you feel simpatico with, you know, who you can really see yourself in.
We couldn't believe everything came together so fast. The kitchen seemed abuzz with action, but then, as if by magic, everyone had a dish ready just in time. The teams had prepared 1 sample of every dish on the menu for the pop-up, and the chefs explained each dish with details about every ingredient and instructions on how to plate them and present them to guests. The team asked questions, like how many spoons of sauce and which way the plate should face. Nothing is left to chance. Every detail is thought through.
This will get put in front of the guests. We're gonna pour the almond milk, like starting, you can go over, try not to cover everything, but you can go inside the little teardrops and a little bit into the negative space. Try and just leave the flowers pristine, and then finish with like maybe a half a spoon of oil. So this is how it will go out. So caviar is away from the guest. Guest is here, right? Guest is 6. So we're gonna drop like this.
This was such a fascinating behind-the-scenes glimpse into the workings of a Michelin-starred kitchen. The sun was setting at Lilo and the teams were ready for service. It was time for the pop-up. We had the pleasure of dining with Camilla and arrived to a courtyard aglow with energy. The experience began on the patio, where we were served welcome drinks. We tried one of each beverage pairing. A glass of Iwa sake kicked off the wine pairing, and a glass of bubbles from our favorite non-alcoholic producer, Murray from Copenhagen, started the other. Stunning snacks were served from both restaurants to begin the meal. In the first round, Lilo featured kombu-cured madai with yuzu oil and shiso flowers. And Alouette presented their beautiful beetroot tart shaped like a rose. Sous Chef Melody Hamburger showed us how it was made.
So for our beetroot tarts, we essentially start the dinner at Alouette with a presentation of our first plot, which is a farm all about the terroir. So we really want to make sure that they see something beautiful that comes from the ground. In this case, it's the beetroot tart. So we start with the tart shell. It's made on a beetroot puree, which we cook down, heavily reduced, and then get it nice and crispy. We then fill that with a gel, which is made on Mirabelle preserves, which we harvested from last summer. We mix that with some magnolia syrup to make a gel. And then we roll a rose, just to make like a nice piece of jewelry, if you will. The beetroots have been smoked over some beechwood and charcoal. And then they've been layered with some pickled magnolia petals from our garden from about 2 years ago and some fresh shiso. So we roll that up, slice it on the bottom so it's nice and sharp, and then present it like a rose.
It's Sweet and smoky. Delicious. In the second round, we had a variation of Alouette's trout roe tart that we first had at Aubergine. They had already tweaked and perfected the dish from just one pop-up to the next. At Aubergine, the tart was a little too big to eat in one bite, but now the tart was a perfect bite-sized snack. Lilo's second serving featured raw scallop, local guava, tomatillo, and nasturtium. For the last round of snacks, Lilo served a gougere shaped like a crinkle-cut fry, topped with a Comté Mornay sauce, barrel-aged maple syrup, and a fatty slice of Iberico lardo. Alouette created a bite only for this pop-up.
Oh, hi. I'm Nick. Welcome to Behind the Curtain. Today, we're working on a new little snack that we're going to do specifically for Lilo. We were thinking about oysters, we were thinking about coastline, we were thinking about desert and grasses, this sort of arid climate. We wanted to bring all those things together. Made me think a lot about the dish that inspired my transition into cooking with fire. When I was a kid, we used to go down to the coast, visit my grandmother, and there would always be the neighbor doing an outdoor barbecue just in a fire pit. And they would grill oysters with a little bit of drawn butter and some glazed ducks. We thought that that was a really nice idea, something that we would love to bring together. So today we're doing some tumble-grown oysters, which means that they're Pacifica oysters that are tumbled in bags, so it breaks off the mantle on the outside, forcing them to grow in and down. So you get these really dense little jewels. We'll be grilling those over almond wood, brushing with a little bit of duck glaze, finishing with a soured cream and a little bit of preserves that we brought from Denmark and a touch of lemongrass oil. It's one little bite to start the meal.
Honestly, leave it to Nick to make me like oysters. That is a delicious bite. That is delicious. Hey Nick, best oyster I've ever had. No, I'm not even lying.
Like oysters though.
But like, I like lemongrass and I like your sauce. After our snacks, it was time to move inside to the chef's counter for the rest of the meal. Lilo started the tasting menu with a fresh, springy serving of local crab.
The crab dish we're doing especially for tonight is based off of rock crab, locally caught here in San Diego. It's lightly steamed, picked, seasoned with finger lime, a bit of bergamot oil, and shiso. And then we're taking Celtus, so quintessential spring. We're making very thin slices, enrobing the crab in that, so like nice little crunch. Served with spring peas, some pea flowers, and viola. And then to finish, an almond milk as a sauce, very kind of veloute, smooth texture, and an oil made of bergamot skins.
That was delicious. The almond milk. So floral. A staple on this road trip, served at every pop-up, was Alouette's signature dish of pumpkin and caviar. We couldn't believe it was Camilla's first time trying it. This is only my third time having it this week, but don't worry, I get to have it again. For the next course, Lilo served a comforting bowl of chicken and bone marrow broth with tenderized abalone. On the side was a crispy brassica tempura with a chive emulsion. Another classic on the Alouette tour has been the dish of grilled spiny lobster with XO sauce and a Tangelo hollandaise. Alouette R&D chef Summer Sharkey has been constantly working on this dish. And at the Lilo pop-up, a new presentation just dropped. We love this course so much. Luckily, Alouette has a version of this dish in Copenhagen with a tomato hollandaise. This sauce is life. It's so good. It's like a lemon meringue, you know, or like a key lime pie, like the curd, the Tangelo jam. I'm so sad this sauce can't come back to Alouette. Only Alouette. Then it was time for the main course. Lilo served fatty, perfect Japanese Wagyu with a rich and chive-dominant sauce with walnuts, kombu, and black truffles. On the side, the most buttery laminated brioche, an amazing bread serving. This was a highlight dish. Another favorite was the collaboration course by Lilo and Alouette. A fresh dessert of Meyer lemon sorbet, woodruff jam, and grilled strawberry jus. That was one of my favorites of the night. The lemon sorbet, Meyer lemon sorbet, was like the perfect palate cleanser. And then the grilled strawberry gave it this like sweetness, kind of strawberry lemonade vibes. And then the woodruff jam underneath added this depth, and tonka vanilla was amazing. A glass of Dom Perignon champagne was served with the next dessert. Lilo's signature orgeat ice cream with celery root bouchie, caviar, and almond oil. This was nutty, floral, salty, and sweet. An exceptional dessert that we shortlisted for one of our best dishes of the year. This is such a good combo. Never had orgeat ice cream before. Love it in cocktails. This is so delicious. It's like nutty and salty, sweet.
That is an absolutely ridiculously good dessert. Oh my God, that is so good. I love this. I am going to need a second one. I hope to have extra. About to raid their fridge. If this doesn't make my dessert list, then we have one hell of a year ahead of us.
Lilo's house-made non-alcoholic pairing is one of the most creative we've tried, featuring local ingredients that really enhanced the dishes on the tasting menu. We especially loved the fresh and tart juice of kumquat, marigold, and elderflower, and the tonka spice tea with vanilla cream. It kind of tasted like a pumpkin spice latte. This was served with the last dessert. Lilo's Earl Grey flan with bourbon sauvignon, cocoa nib ice cream, miso, toffee, and a caramel tuile. The final sweets were served to close out the meal. On top, a quince pâte de fruits and chocolate filled with guava ganache from Alouette. Underneath, Lilo's chamomile mochi with citrus marmalade and lemon balm. The perfect fresh finish. To celebrate a successful pop-up dinner together, we gathered around the bonfire with the Alouette and Lilo teams, eating the signature s'mores from Campfire. This was the perfect ending to an amazing 24 hours together. We can't thank the Lilo team enough for being so welcoming. Although we only had a day together, it's one we will never forget. The next morning, it was time to hit the road and drive back up to San Francisco. We got a box of pastries and coffees from Wildland to bring in the car. The coffee cake was my absolute favorite item here. Buttery, moist, packed with cinnamon sugar, and warm from the oven.
Taking some pastries on the road. Wildland just opened, taking these on our drive to San Francisco. A big coffee cake? Wow.
A little longer.
I'm pretty happy. Got my best friends in the world in my car with me.
She's talking about the pastries, guys.
Stay tuned for the last episode in this series, featuring Alouette's collaboration dinner with Birdsong, our favorite restaurant in San Francisco. Will Anders be able to eat the biggest sea urchin that the Birdsong kitchen has ever seen? Did you know we have an international food community? Join the Hungries to connect with other foodies around the world. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more food and travel videos. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Anders Husa and Carnivore. Thanks for watching!